You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include ghosts, death of loved ones, grief, apocalypse, environmental disaster, nightmares, visions, scopophobia, infidelity, and references to romance, flirting, sex, alcohol, drinking, and hunger. Arc 2, Episode 8. Your Heart Should Run. From Carved Inside an Empty Urn by Connie Chong. Seir, as you land on the smooth, polished mahogany floor of the balcony, your foot crunches over a bone. Not just any bone, a god's bone. And when you look up, you are no longer in this version of the city of heaven. Instead of the black river to your left, you see a river of blood. And you hear screams, roars, tortured, shattered, divine screams, and your heart pounding in your chest, your sepulchral, organic, mushy heart beating against your ribs, and a sensation rising inside of yourself, a sensation you have spent the last 2 months trying to suppress. It coils up, and you feel, as you gasp back onto the balcony, so hungry. As you come back to your body, the sensation, the feeling of hunger starts to fade as though it were nothing but a bad dream, but the bitterness of it lingers on your tongue. How do you reel?
I think Seir lets out a sound. It's unholy, it's heretical as it escapes his lips and bites down on it, trying to suppress it. He just says through gritted teeth, No, 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 go away, go away, go away. And is the bone still on the ground beneath
There's
my
no
feet?
bone here. It's
Seir
just a mahogany floor.
Seir does a double take, looks beneath his boots. There's that sensation in his mouth, like hunger. The feeling of, after clearing a bone of an animal, seeking yet another. The need to gnaw. But as it dissipates and leaves his mouth, he grabs onto the railing behind him, the banister, to help stabilize. And I think folks beneath him could see him steady himself on that balcony.
Lumièra and Xainan, you hear Seir gasp and say no, no, no to himself, and as you grab onto the railing behind you, your palms are coated in your own cold, hungry sweat, and I think you overjudge your own strength. You crack some of the wood underneath your fingers.
You alright?
Seir's jerked back to the prison. His strike team. Nova can see him, Xainan can see him. Lumièra can see him. Yeah. I'm alright, just lost my balance. Yeah.
Xainan shoots Lumièra a look.
Lumièra shoots
He has
one
a
right back.
Creeping feeling. The last time Seir started just talking to himself, there was a giant oil dragon inside of him. And so Xainan is kind of chewing on that as he looks over at Lumièra, and there is danger and concern in his eyes.
I'm gonna look ahead. I'm gonna see if everything's locked. If y'all want to meet me on the other side, Yeah, other
You
side.
don't sound too sure.
Just haven't opened the door yet, that's all. Don't worry, I'm just having a peek. See you on the other side.
All right.
Xainan and Lumièra, do the two of you do as you're told and just wait here for Seir to open the doors from the inside?
Xainan shakes his head at Seir's direction. Would you like in from the ground?
Well, I tend to try to work smarter instead of harder, so yes.
Xainan just nods, steps forward towards the gates. Are they open?
They are. I think it would be hilarious if they were just wide open this entire time. But
yeah.
But I think for the sake of not making Seir's noble sacrifice be completely in vain, yes, the doors to the gambling house are closed.
Xainan's gonna go up to the gate and give it a shake, see how sturdy they are, see how hard it would be to actually just go inside.
Yes, you go up and you shake them. They are not locked. And you're able to kind of part them by pulling them apart in the middle.
Xainan just pushes and pushes for enough room for both of them to, with their personal bubbles intact, enter the gates.
Sure. Xainan, you muscle open the gates, and you and Lumièra walk into the atrium, the foyer of this gambling house, and you see a huge, beautiful expanse of pure debauchery. You see felt tables for playing mahjong, different sections for various games of chance and debatable skill. Toward the back, you see a large ramp curling up to the second floor, and it's eerie how empty it is. I don't know if any of you have ever seen a gambling house empty. That completely defeats the purpose of a gambling house. They're open 24/7, clientele coming in, coming out, but there's absolutely no one here. The two of you can even hear your own footsteps, though muffled over this thick tongue of carpet underneath you. You hear them treading over the felt as you look around. And you also notice something else that is very obvious on the interior. On the beautiful obsidian and white marble walls that surround the interior of the gambling house, everywhere are painted black eyes.
Are you getting the idea that someone is consistently always watching you in here, Xainan?
I honestly don't think that changes anywhere we go.
Fair, but I'm talking about in particularly here.
I don't know. And as he says that, you can see, I think pretty plainly on his face, that he's not looking at the eyes painted on the wall. A distinct change from being on the Wild Sea, where his eyes would dart around and he would keenly take in the surroundings watchfully. This time his eyes go to a mahjong table, and his hand reaches down and he touches the tiles just to hear them click together a little. Just someone's row of tiles click, 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 click.
Is this particular location going to be a problem for you, Xainan?
No, ma'am. There's no one here to gamble with in the first place, and I don't have much to gamble with other than... And he looks down at the goose.
Well, I would appreciate if we could all keep our eyes on the mission at hand right now. There will be time for leisure later.
It's all a part of it. And finally he looks around, clear-eyed. What do you think they are?
Now that I have no idea.
Only Seir would, I don't know, get one of those spooky omens. I feel like that'd be very helpful here.
Could be. Or add more stress to a situation that's already stressful enough.
Certainly.
Why is... And I think Lumièra does like a once around the room, her fingertips lightly tracing the eyes, that black eyes that are painted on the wall, just barely touching them, but she is like running her finger across it.
Lumièra, as soon as your fingers graze over the painted surfaces of one of the eyes, you feel an after image of magic radiating off of it. It's not active, right? Nothing's currently going on there, but this eye and that eye over there, and indeed all of the black painted eyes on all of these walls, they once were magical. Though for what purpose, just by looking at them and touching them, you can't ascertain.
Well, from what I can tell, these eyes used to have something special in them per se, but what they were used for, can't really tell.
At a guess, surveillance.
That would be my first inkling as well.
Yeah. Well, let's go, find Agent Seir.
We haven't heard, like, Seir making any noise or anything like that, like, up above us, have we?
So speaking of which, we pan up through a layer of pure dark wood to find Seir up on the balcony. Seir, there's not much on the balcony itself. It's a beautiful railing. You see a small garden of sorts with potted plants, a money tree, and a crooked palm. And you also see a sliding wooden door with these beautiful, intricate wooden cutouts of lotus flowers. Through the gaps in the lotus flowers, you can kind of ascertain a darkly lit room of some sort, but you know you can definitely just slide the panel off and enter.
Seir looks at the little potted plants and he can't help but smile for a moment as he traces his finger along the leaves. He thinks of an old friend, and as he traces his fingers away, he looks into the darkness. Seems easy enough to slide the doors, and he pushes it across. And he will feel the mask falter as the hunter finally emerges from the shadow. And I will take a look around the room. It's dark in here? What are we looking at?
It was until you opened up the panel and light from, it's still daytime, by now probably late afternoon. So light from the late afternoon sun is pouring into this area. You see a combination office and entertainment den, right? It's lavish. There's low tables in various places, scattered little pleasures, wine, little foods that are beginning to rot, as well as a lounge area with this long sofa, chair. This isn't a bedroom. There's no boudoir or bed here, but it was a place of both work and pleasure and entertainment. You see a table pushed up against one wall with a big, lavish chair with a snake carved along the top of it, and wooden filing cabinets behind that desk as well. There's also a door.
Yeah.
Yes, there's food out on top of a low table, as well as an ashtray with that's very full, along with various unlit cigars and cigarettes on the table.
So it looks like whoever was here was hosting.
Oh, definitely. You see spilled decanters of wine on the floor, like they were knocked over.
Seir notes that. He takes a wide berth around it, and goes towards the door because his priority is letting Nova in. Is it locked?
Sure. Nope. You go to the door and you're able to slide it open. You see essentially a landing area with a railing and a ramp that curls down to the atrium. If you walk all the way to the railing, you can peer over into the foyer and see Lumièra and Xainan.
Seir pushes the door open, takes a deep breath in. Xainan, Lumièra, up here. Xainan, Lumièra, up here. He mutters to himself, and then he walks a little forward towards the railing, leans over, and says, Nova, Xainan, Lumièra, up here. Got it open. It's quite interesting.
Good work.
Good indeed. Lumièra is taking long strides up that golden staircase.
Yeah, Lumièra and Xainan, as the two of you go up this ramp toward this office entertainment area, you are again struck by the emptiness of this entire place. You see everywhere pleasures interrupted. You see bets, beautiful glimmering gems, votive offerings in the centers of tables that are just unclaimed, sitting there as you ascend the ramp toward that office.
Looks like our friend was hosting.
So it seems. Was there any signs of disturbance upstairs in the room that you got in?
Just the typical, like we saw in the ground floor, like in the main market. Things dropped, and as you ascend up, there's a pause when he regards you for a moment. His pupils widen, he smiles, and then he marches inside and begins gesturing towards the fallen over wine decanters, the gambling elements, food rotting away. Just similar vibe.
I think now would be a good time for one of you to investigate.
I was literally
office.
just about to.
Lumièra!
Yeah, I nominate one of you.
I nominate Lumièra.
It's because Val doesn't want to roll anymore.
No!
Right.
Get someone with good dice karma. Okay.
Stop. Now I'm gonna get fucked. Okay.
I would love
knocks
that as a
on
DM.
wood. I know you would.
So the investigate move is a sleuth move. When you investigate a new location, describe how you search for clues and roll 2d6 plus tags. So everything I just described to Seir, the broad strokes, all of you are able to just get in an instant, but this is when you want to probe deeper and find specific answers and get a clearer picture of what happened here. So Lumièra, how are you searching for clues?
I think Lumièra is looking for any signs of broken entry.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's looking for anything that's been left behind, any type of more specifically than anything that's been left behind, but anything that rings of the same similar ping of the magic of the black eyes on the wall.
Sure.
That's more specific. She's really looking for anything that has that same similar wavelength to say as the eyes on the lobby floor.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So which tags are you invoking?
That's what I'm trying to think about.
But can I also help?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
That's
Xainan,
great.
you
Yeah,
can.
I'm looking through. I'm like, I don't know if I have anything. I mean, I could use Flash as a history again.
Diagnoses could also work. I know it's typically
I was
medical,
gonna actually use,
but it's
I
like
was
your
gonna-
investigative
okay.
mind. Yeah.
Okay, I was actually gonna
And-
ask if that was something that I could do. Be like, can I make an argument for diagnoses?
Absolutely. Yes, power tags are meant to be kind of broad but specific to
Okay.
fit into a variety of situations. And Xainan, you can also help. So there's a help move that I wrote here as well. When you want to help a crewmate who's making a move, describe how you assist them and roll 2d6 plus help points. So help points and hurt points are a resource that that players gain they can choose to gain them at the end of every session when we use the end of session move, Geek Out during credits. So right now, Xainan, how many health points do you have in your relationship with Lumièra? 1.
I actually have one.
Okay, excellent. So describe how you're assisting Lumièra's investigation.
I think after Xainan coldly remembers the burn on his hand, looking at all of the gems and things, he finally makes his way into the room and enters and immediately catches Lumièra's like sleuth eyes. And he's like, right, yes, mission. I'm on a mission. I don't want to keep screwing up. So he is going to start helping by like peeking around things and using his extremely keen gaze to and his like astute mind to specifically like criminal enterprises and things like that. I would like to use resourceful criminal. And
so you're not using your power tags actually. When you help someone, you spend help points.
I'm just looking and spending the 1 help point. All right.
Excellent. I assume, can I just say that the two of you are moving things around and like looking at stuff, opening drawers and stuff like that? Is that a stretch to say that's part of what you're doing?
Yeah, no, not too much. That's about right.
Okay, sounds good. You're like poking around. Okay.
Seir,
would you
watching...
also like to help?
Can I?
Yeah, why not? Both of you can attempt, I think.
Awesome. Seir, I think, is just following Lumièra's eyes and just walks to whatever drawer, whatever area she's looking at, and just moves a potted plant, opens a drawer. Like, he's just expending all of the effort he knows she doesn't want to do.
So you're being the muscle, like moving the heavy objects aside and doing the manual labor. Okay. How many help points with Lumièra do you have?
I only have 1.
Okay, so roll 2d6 plus 1. Both the boys. Let's resolve those.
I did make it at a 7.
Okay.
With the plus 1.
So before we resolve that, let's wait for Seir.
Oh, thank Jesus. That is a 10. Plus 1.
Okay, that's really good. So Xainan, on a 7 to 9, your support is just fine. It's nothing huge, but it doesn't help them either. Oh, sorry. It's nothing huge, but it doesn't hurt them either. So what a 7 to 9 means is there's no mechanical benefit. It's just kind of flavor as you're looking around and helping Lumièra sift through items. Seir, on a 10 plus, your help is timely and crucial. They get a plus 1. So Lumièra, you get a plus 1 from Seir on top of your regular roll. So what power tags are you invoking?
I'm gonna go ahead and use diagnoses.
Okay.
And then the plus 1 from Seir, so plus 2.
That's it? Okay, wonderful. Roll 2d6 plus 2 for investigate.
Okay, let me find investigate so I can look at it. Why is math not mathing for me right now? Holy shit, hold on.
What are the picks on the
so
die?
good.
9. It's a 9.
Total?
Total.
Okay, so on a 7 to 9, the GM will describe the area's general ambiance and any prominent features that your trained senses notice. Not bad. So, all in all, let me paint you all a picture. Lumièra, Xainan, and Seir, as you snoop around this office, yes, there are also eyes here. Not as many as downstairs. There are 3 prominent eyes. 1 on a wall, 1 on a ceiling, and 1 as Seir moves the carpet aside underneath the carpet even. They also contain traces of magic, though they're not currently magically activated. You also notice that at first, just a regular person might have written off the spilled decanters of wine from the entertainment area as someone knocked it over drunkenly, or maybe they were dropped when the mist took everyone. But upon closer inspection, it appears to be dropped due to a struggle. You see footprints in the carpet. 2 sets. 1 set facing outward from a wall, and 1 set much larger facing inward. It seems like a larger person was menacing someone up against the wall. You also notice on the table regular ledgers and paperwork, easily accessible about the gambling house. The currency coming in, the currency leaving it. Various letters from various people talking about various tasks that are not necessarily super interesting. They're administrative tasks or bureaucratic requests, correspondence that seem politically friendly in nature. But then you also notice several locked drawers. Did any of you try to force them open? Or try to attempt to find a key?
I would probably attempt to find a key.
Yeah,
First.
Seir would have probably have moved it, and it made a sound. He
Yes.
looks at Lumièra, and Lumièra's already like,
Find a key first.
Unfortunately, with a 7 to 9, you were unable to locate a key in this room.
Okay.
So did you let Seir muscle it open?
If we can't find a key, then I would let Seir muscle it open, yes.
Okay. Good news, Seir is able to wrench it open, wood chips go flying, and even more excellent news, especially for you, Lumièra, who's attuned to magic, you feel like a magical vestige vibrating upward from the drawer. This was definitely booby-trapped. It was definitely cursed, but it's kind of just like the eyes, right? And the Spear of Seven Storms, the mist also seemed to have deactivated some aspects of the magics in the City of Heaven. So nothing explodes outward. You're able to just kind of wrench the drawer open and peer at the contents inside. The most interesting things you find here are what appear to be very sordid details about various gods in the City of Heaven. You see files on various deities here, discussing bribes, discussing petty thefts that have been documented, and you specifically see very realistic looking black and white drawings that seem to have caught people in the act from various angles, right? But it's almost like a vision was inscribed onto a piece of paper. The closest thing you ascertain to a photograph that might exist here. One of them in particular is in a red file that seems to be chosen because it seems to have some kind of sentimental value. And inside this file, you see the name of the god that has the sordid details on is called Harping. And you see an image of a woman kissing another woman, like kind of from like an above angle. They're like embracing. And then you see the same woman who was kissing another woman, like sitting for like a nice portrait of her wife, and her child. But the wife is not the same as the woman she was kissing.
Does the wife or child look familiar in the picture at all?
No. Every face that you soar through is completely new. Something interesting about the other woman, let's say, is that the eyes, it's wherever this picture was taken or wherever this vision was inscribed, it doesn't seem to be in the City of Heaven. You see in the background like a humble country farm, and then it hits all of you. That woman's immortal, whereas the wife is a god.
Ooh.
So this drawer is full of blackmail material. That's what it is.
Xainan looks it all over. Some things never change, even if you're a god.
Oh.
Unfortunately, so it seems.
Well, at least
So
this is
they were.
something like what we came here for.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is blackmail and the liaison that we were just told about by Xiao Cheng is a dealer in subterfuge and in details such as this,
And information.
does that mean, and his eyes pan over towards the spilt over struggle area and looks back at Nova, vengeance at the door?
I'm not 100% sure, but look at this. And Lumièra will pull both of you, more specifically Xainan, over to the footprints that she saw earlier and points them out specifically. Check out the angle of these. What do you think?
Xainan steps up to them, puts his boot next to the footprints just to like gauge for size.
The smaller
And
set
looks
is
over
even
this.
smaller than yours. So whoever those belong to was rather short, rather diminutive and slight. The larger pair, very much a tall person, maybe taller than I think any of you in your party, and you immediately think of the two gods that you saw in your vision. They seem to match up. The woman going inside would match up with like the large footprints, and the person smoking on the balcony would match up with the small one.
the vision I saw. And he says the word like it hurts a little. The owners of these footprints might have been a part of that, the smaller set to the owner of all this.
Every
That does
time
a
I
book.
get every time I get more information, I leave with more questions.
Well, someone here was slated to be the virtue of the Emperor, so maybe there's a bit of meat on that bone.
Yeah. And if we are to make the assumption that said candidate is the owner, an attack on them on this day feels
Specific.
bad.
Mm.
There's one more detail about the room that all three of you would notice. By the desk, in a corner, almost surreptitiously there, that you might have missed on a first glance, is a bowl upon a very humble table, and the bowl is filled with pure black water.
Ink?
As you get closer and peer inside, you don't smell ink coming off of it, but Seir, something about it tugs at you. It's magical. And not just that, unlike the ghosts, the after images of magic lingering on the eyes, the magic here is present. It's still magical, contains all of its magic, whatever this bowl with black liquid is.
I think what Seir does is that he hovers his hand above, and maybe we see a little bit of magical effervescence tingling near the tips of his fingers, and he steps up towards Lumièra. Magic. Here.
Dang, I wanna investigate this now. Let me take a look at the.
Absolutely. I think in order to activate this or use it, it would be more like channeling your power or even gazing into the mist.
Yeah, let's gaze into the mist.
Yes, I love it when we gaze into the mist. Okay, so when you gaze into the mist for answers or signs, describe what you're looking for and roll 2d6 plus tags.
Okay, so when Seir mentions that they notice there's some type of magical resonance to this water, I think Lumièra immediately goes into healer mode. She is very well known, she knows botany and alchemy and things of that nature. It's what she does. So I think she immediately goes to it with that framework in it of investigating what exactly this is, and then what are said powers of it, and what exactly itself it could be used for or is used for in general.
Okay.
Or if there's any components, or if she can't identify what it is exactly, what are components of it that she can identify that can lead her to what it is?
Hell yeah, you want to know what is its purpose and what are some clues that will lead me to its purpose. Excellent. So I think tags that might work here, feel free to pitch them to me. Diagnoses might work again.
Diagnoses definitely might work again. Some part of me feels like forbidden knowledge.
No, I think that works. Yeah.
Can also work.
Yes.
So I'll pitch those two. Yeah, diagnoses and forbidden knowledge. Okay.
I will say yes to that.
2d6 plus 2.
Go for it.
That is a 6. I'm so excited for this.
Oh,
On a
fuck.
6-, I love this. On a 6-,
I'm so excited.
the mist gazes back. As you gasp back into yourself, the GM will tell you what single portent lingers in your mind's eye, haunting you. Suffer or worsen a status of the GM's choice. Okay. As you place your hands upon the edges of this bowl, it's not just some regular bowl meant for holding rice or noodles or soup. It is an intricately carved metal bowl with designs along its sides, designs of a tortoise with a serpent's tail wrapped around its exterior. And as your fingertips alight upon it, the magic rushes into you like a gasp of mist washing over your eyes. And your eyes, we close upon them, they turn pure black, just like the ink. The inky water within this bowl. And Seir and Xainan, what Lumièra sees, you see played out on the surface of this scrying bowl. Lumièra, you see Xainan, the cradle, the mortal world underneath the city of heaven, one of the 3 sister realms stitched against each other. And on Xainan, you see nothing but disaster. Disaster, disaster, disaster. You see storms the size of temples devastating a countryside. You see earthquakes toppling buildings. You see people running and running from dust storms. You see fire eating crops. You see animals, cattle dropping over, diseased and dying. You see the bedlam, the disaster, the panic that happens in the absence of the gods. There's no balance here now that the gods are gone. There's no one here to breathe life into Xainan, to maintain harmony. All of that is completely out of balance. There has been nothing but 7 days and 6 nights of disaster. That is the portent that lingers in your mind's eye as you gasp back into yourself and your eyes uncloud, becoming themselves once more. And the status I'm going to inflict upon you is haunted. Haunted 2. Not just of what you saw in Xainan, but something about these visions of disaster resonated within an almost forgotten part of yourself, a subsumed part of yourself deep within a pool inside the Ionian Grove disaster. Yes, it feels so familiar, but unknown, the details lost to you at the bottom of a lake.
I think when Lumièra gasps back, she stumbles
Whoa,
and
whoa.
stutters, moving herself
Seir
away
catches
from
you.
the table.
Yeah, I think there's 2 sets of hands.
Lumièra,
You alright?
look at me. Look at me, Lumièra. You're here with me. Look at me.
Yeah, it is something akin to oblivion.
Oblivion. Yeah. Guess we know why we're here.
And Lumièra's shook. She's not really saying anything. She's
Yeah.
kind of just in.
And Seir's no longer focused on the mission. He's only focused on you. He wants you to be steady. He just stares and looks into you in those big blue eyes, and he grips your shoulder, the upper part of your arm, and he just says, "It's okay, just stay with me here."
And a shade has fallen over Xainan's face. The dust back on him like a mantle, an agent on a mission. Oblivion. 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 And he steps away, that helping hand leaving just Seir there.
Are you okay? Can you stand?
Yeah. I can stand. And as Lumièra gets up, another one of her curls has went white again, permanently. And it just lays there. But it's definitely noticeable because it was not there before.
In that transition point between you fully standing and that crow falling over, Seir reaches out, stops himself. All right. You're okay.
And
See anything else, Xainan?
Xainan's gone to the drawer with all the scrying sketches and stuff. Takes a fistful of them. I think this is what we came here for. We have half an answer.
Yeah.
In a world below, between, that needs us. I think we got what we need.
Seir stares outside. What time of day is it? Does time work the same way in the city of
I'm
heaven?
so glad you asked, Seir, because as your investigations into the Black River had continued and gone on, the sun in the window outside had gradually but certainly made its downward trajectory toward the horizon. Warmth recedes from the open-air courtyards of the Azir complex. The shadows inside the Black River grow long. The vibrant reds of the Vermilion Library begin to dull, and the fires of the White Forge flicker against a chill breeze. The arrival of evening is so slow, so gentle, that none of you notice the mist rolling in until it's, well, everywhere. Thick, white clouds coagulate in front of your faces. It doesn't matter if one happens to be outside under the light of the fading sun, or, like the three of you, inside, shielded from the heavens by a roof held up by curved wooden ribs. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, the mist rolls in. It is cold against your skin, like the caress of a lover long gone. It lingers on your clothes, your hair, behind the whites of your eyes. It becomes so dense that you can't see more than 3 boo ahead of yourselves. Your minds begin to cotton. Your thoughts disperse like silk strands being pulled apart by a weaver's deft hands. What were you doing here again? What time is it exactly? Who are you? These questions bubble to the surface of your consciousness like lotus flowers drifting across a tranquil pond. Pretty little questions with no real answers, aren't they? Answers that elude you as soon as you reach for them. It is as though you are slipping into a dream, farther and farther away from yourself, calmer and calmer, darker and darker, until, just like that, the mist rolls back out. It clears. Your mind sharpens. Your eyes refocus. And Strike Team Nova, you now find yourselves in the company of gods. And we're going to end the session there.
I fucking knew you were
thank
going to do
all.
that shit.
Look at this victory dance. Do you all see this?
What the
Do you all see
fuck?
this?
That's me. I've been your game master and creative producer, Connie Chong. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me across the internet at by Connie Chong. That's BYCONNIECHANG, especially TikTok. Come give me a follow. Tap those hearts. Check out Transplanar RPG in my bio. And I'm gonna pass along introductions over to Valiant Dorian.
Hi, I'm Valiant Dorian. I'm Valiant Love Wins Dorian. Hi, I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otsa Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite masked fiery Blorbor Seir who uses he, they pronouns. I'm gonna pass introductions over to Kai.
Hi everybody, I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns. I'm surrounded by gods suddenly. You can find me all over the internet as Estelle of Imladris. And I will be back here until I'm cast out of the city of heaven, I guess, as Mr. Xainan Esh, who uses he, him pronouns. Sam, help.
Help? Hey, I'm Sam Star. You can follow me all across the interwebs at Lust for Life X. That's LUSTTFORLIFEEX. And fuck. Yeah, that's all I got. Just surrounded by gods and seeing destruction. You know, I guess we all get a little taste of it. The Seir treatment. Boss?
Just so you know, the line like the touch of a lover long gone was my birthday present to you, Sam. I love
Awful.
you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sam Star. This is your
Happy birthday, Sam.
stream. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sam!
Yes, happy birthday. We will be back next week, Saturday, February 10th. In 7 days, February 10th, at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, wherever you watch your live streams, whether that's Twitch at Transplanar RPG, YouTube at Transplanar RPG, or TikTok right here at Connie Chong. Please give me a follow so you can stay tuned about when I go live. I post like 3 to 4 times a week. Good TTRPG content. And yes, we love you all so much. See you next week. Please listen to our podcast. Check us out. Join our Discord server. Join our community. We're a lot of fun. We are queer. We are trans. We do dark art about dark things and mysteries and good stuff. We love dark fantasy. Okay, we love you all so much. See you in 7 days. And Bisho.